G'day world, Chris Hogan coming to you live from Techsauce Global Summit here in Bangkok, thanks to our partners True Digital Park. And I'm here with Andrew, who's the co-founder of Slator, which kind of is the back end of Translator.
Yes, in a way, yes. We're a news and research website for the global language services industry.
Excellent. Global, say that again?
Global language services industry. So it's one of those industries that is everywhere, but no one really thinks about it.
No.
So if you're taking over a company, you need those financial documents translated. If you're running clinical trials in China, you better make sure that those protocols are correct.
So Google Translate doesn't work for
Google does not translate does not work at the enterprise level. Maybe in 5 or 10 years, because there's also a lot of machine learning, AI, natural language processing coming into play, which is why we're here at Techsauce today. There's a lot going on here at Techsauce. There's a lot going on in Asia, and so this is where the rubber meets the road, if you will. And so we're looking for stories about who's doing what and what's working and what's coming next in the language services industry in Asia.
Yeah, because you would need to innovate if AI and machine learning are going to come through and wipe you guys out, right?
Well, they're not going to wipe us out because at the end of the day, there has to be some value-added analysis. So AI has come in and started to do sort of baseline writing in, say, baseball box scores or financial results. However, it hasn't quite reached up to the level where it starts to look at some of the unconnected dots in a more complex relationship and start to piece those together and then make decisions. And then if you're talking about, say, something like mergers and acquisitions and you're analyzing all that financial data, it's not going to tell you about the chemistry of the company. It's not going to tell you about the corporate culture. And so there's always going to be a human element, I believe, on top of the system. Maybe there'll be a lot more information fed up to or a lot more guidance given, but ultimately I still think humans are going to be in control at the end of the day.
That's a fantastic point you're making because, you know, too many people, like me, even just throwing at you, oh wait, you're gone, you're done and dusted, you know, and people are actually sitting in their desk, you know, behind their desks and going, well, AI and machine learning is going to wipe me out, you know.
I don't think so at all.
But we need creative minds. We need human minds to be creative because AI and machine learning hasn't shown that it's capable of doing that.
I think the best analogy that I could say during my lifetime is you look at digital transformation, and this is just the next stage of that whole process. But you know, 100 years ago, people used to send a telegram, then they wanted to make a phone call, then they'd send a fax, then they sent an email, now they're on WhatsApp. You know, I don't know, maybe they'll put a chip in our brain and we'll be telecommunicating some point down the road.
If you ask Elon Musk, he wants to do that.
There you go. But the bottom line is people still want to communicate. So the format and the technology may change, but the underlying interaction is still the same. We're still human beings. We still want to execute different types of transactions. We want to buy things. We want to go places. You have to remember, 20 years ago, people were saying that e-commerce would never take off in Asia. People would never trust systems with their credit cards.
Yeah, saying never say never again, right?
Yes. So absolutely. So in what this conference is really showing is that in different areas of technology, even in the energy sector now, and real estate, and e-learning, technology can be employed to actually open up new markets. Very often, when you bring the price point down on a lot of services, it opens up those services to entirely new markets, and the overall market grows. So most people think about, oh, it's going to cost me my job, and there's always a requirement for development. But even Tom Ford showed earlier today that 90% of the jobs that exist today existed 100 years ago. So it's not really going to wipe everybody out, at least not in our lifetime. And I think it's actually going to help open up a lot of markets in terms of making things a lot more affordable, a lot more accessible. And I think that is a benefit to us all.
Absolutely. And that is a trend. There is an underlying trend that I'm seeing here today that, you know, technology is enabling us to do things easier, making services and products more accessible, and like you just said, may not wipe out all of the jobs. So that's fantastic. Now, you have been to Bangkok before?
I've lived in Asia for almost 25 years, most of the time in Singapore. I moved to Bangkok in January last year because I think in Southeast Asia this is the place to be.
Absolutely, man. And you've been to True Digital Park?
I have been down to True Digital Park. I've been there twice now. I think that creation of an ecosystem is a very powerful model. I was actually in New York City in 1998 during the Silicon Alley era, pre-2001 and everything like that. And I can tell you that having the real estate, having the financial backers, having the visa office here in Thailand, which is critical, and having everyone together in terms of workspace and all that flexibility is incredibly powerful. So it's great to see that Thailand has adopted that model, put it to work, and you now have both the major players coming in and also all the startups coming from the ground up. And I think that's really great for Thailand. I really think it's great for the region, and it's highly concentrated here in Bangkok. Much, much better than, say, Indonesia, which is diversified across many islands.
Yep. Thanks so much, Andrew.
My pleasure.
I'll finish off with saying you can get a hot desk for free at Trigital Park this month. Just check out the link in the post.
Excellent.
Thanks very much for watching. Plenty more coming to you live on facebook.com/BeachCityLive.